without further ado, let's begin.
Welcome to the first of the Maker Talks of this year. Maker Talks are being hosted by Metaverse Academia and were founded by the educators of Resonite. My name is Garfelsnark. I will be introducing our presenter today. I am so pleased to present Eclypse, an artist here in Resonite. Since 2007, it has produced various multimedia artworks, such as traditional sketches, clay sculptures, acrylic paintings, and digital renders. Today, they will be guiding us through their journey to create their award-winning MMC 2026 entry, Beatitude, as well as showing us a little bit about their process. Take it away, Eclypse.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Eclypse, and I'm an artist here on Resonite. Today, I'm here to talk about my art installation, Beatitude, 2026 MMC themed around concepts such as personal growth and an understanding that sometimes when things are broken, they can be mended, but they're forever changed. I'd like to play a little video introducing you to the world of Beatitude. Take it away. When I first began planning my MMC entry, I was inspired by the theme of the contest, which revolved around papercraft. I had been making use of brush tools to create in-world assets, and I decided that I would challenge myself to create an artistic space making use only of the in-game asset tools such as paintbrush and primitives. Initially, I wanted to create a space that was about finding hope in the darkness. I had a vision of something at the end of the tunnel, as if representing death, endings, liminality, which would involve a walk in a disorienting space where splashes of color stood out from the otherwise gray and gloomy space. But the more I brought my focus, the more I realized that I was just telling my own story, a story of hurt and pain, and the transformation that created in part who I am today. That's when I came up with the story of the apprentice. Looking for some inspiration, I ended up making this sketch, which was kind of silly at the time, but it very became the centerpiece of the entire project. I had been looking inside myself for a light that I always believed was a calling, like a small crack within that led to divinity. The story began to change in my mind from a place of liminal lost wandering to a bright and colorful path that offered lessons and a guidance. In the world, there are several flower patches which represent my own journey, as I, the apprentice, attempt to guide the lost soul to a place of loneliness and possibly despair, to a place of peace and transformation. I tried to combine elements of psychological experiences with the spirit of Sashiko or Kintsugi. A hand guides guided needle and thread to mend the damages caused by life in an effort to renew the soul. However, the mending itself will forever change the soul. It's problematic. The first set of flowers, vibrant roses or possibly camellias, represent turmoil, emotion, and a state of being that expresses passion and despair in equal measure. It is a state of being characterized by a vibrancy that is beautiful yet overwhelming. This was the first part of the journey in which the soul must confront itself, its flaws, and its damages, but it is important not to become engulfed by our own inner flames. Moving past, the soul finds a much different location. Small pink buds stand out against the otherwise blue-green calm and serenity of nothingness. Here is where the soul has learned to quiet the passions within, finding calm, peace, and an eeriness that they may not. I wanted this place to feel serene in a way that was slightly unsettling, not to make the soul uncomfortable, but to highlight the difference between volatility and inner peace. Once the soul has accepted this new form of being, it integrates aspects of both. We move on to the blue flowers. Some of the previous noise returns, but the serenity remains. There are more colors and more elements of complexity, but they no longer overwhelm. As the soul finishes their journey, we finally come upon the forest of the apprentice. There, all these elements combine into something that transcends what was there before and creates that divinity, a form of self in which harmony is achieved. It is my hope that at this point the soul is able to understand that while they have been healed, they are forever changed. I would also like to demonstrate some of what the ways in which I made use of the texture and brushes to create many of the assets in Beatitude. The only elements in Beatitude that is an outside asset is the terrain, simply because I was not able to create what I had envisioned without the use of Blender. Elements from trees to the skyboxes you see around us were made in Resonite by hand. Without further ado, I'd like to start this off by making one of the more complex shapes that I've been able to make with the paintbrush, which is the sakura petal. Nice and big. We'll start with pink. Start pink. So it's important to understand a couple of things about the paintbrush and Resonite. As you draw out a line, you'll notice that there are certain vertices that are fairly regular but can be adjusted based on technique and the size of your stroke, which can also be adjusted by using pressure sensitivity of your controller depending on your controller. So if we were to try to create something complex with just the standard brushstroke, it's almost impossible. You can get some level of detail, but it's going to be fairly linear. To make something a little bit more complicated, we can actually use the other property, which is those vertices. We start off with a point, and expand those two vertices until we get a little bit of a click, and then bring it down. Once we do, we'll get another click. And then another. And finally, last point. We'll get something a little bit more complex. Another key feature is reducing everything to simplicity rather than trying to make everything complicated from the get-go. So off with a single petal. With that single petal, we can either make a few other variants, or we can just duplicate this petal a couple of times. And give them a bit of an arrangement. You can also take them and use a little bit of scaling to give them some variation. Now it's important to make sure that you take this moment to align things properly. As you'll see, things start moving very quickly once you start building up that complexity. Now, the other part of this that you might be already aware of is that VR doesn't quite offer the same information that real life does. And so it's very important to tilt your head around what you're working on and make sure everything is aligned properly, because things may look proper in one view and be very different in another. It's almost like you're in a half space between 2 dimensions and 3, where you have some 3-dimensional information, but not quite the whole picture. That looks about good. We'll take our flat brush and convert it into a tube brush. Give it another little dip. And this one can also be used in interesting ways. You can either adjust your pressure sensitivity to create different shapes as you move the brush, or you can even do quick little strokes to get different variations of the brush. It's almost like painting with thick acrylic paint. Here, I'll adjust myself a little bit. That's another thing you shouldn't be afraid of. You shouldn't be afraid of moving around in order to get the angles that you need to do something. Ooh, no. Don't be afraid to start over if you mess up. Now, one of the benefits that Resonite, because nothing is set in stone until you do so, we can take what we created, and if it looks visually good, we can always adjust it to match the rest of what we're working on. So in this case, I'd like to make this a little bit smaller, match a little bit better with the petal size. Right? And I think I'm going to actually create another row just to make this a little bit different. Now, at first, this can be a little overwhelming because you are doing a lot of tedious work, and you might think to yourself, I'm never going to be done. But that same duplication ability is going to serve us in the future, make a lot of this work a lot easier. And so you start off slow, but you quickly start to multiply the number of things that you're able to do. And there we go. We got a nice flower. And using that same technique of like brush strokes, I'm going to take the same material and use the line tool to create more delicate, thinner strokes. This may take some level of practice to get a hang of, but I assure you it's fairly simple. And finally, once everything we've created, make sure you get everything right and you look at it from every angle. You can go ahead and grab everyone's favorite tool, the glue tool. Put everything together. And we have a flower. Now, this is actually something I just learned recently, but you should also take a moment to, let's do this, to inspect the work and the materials. Sometimes materials will be copied in ways that are suboptimal, and there's a merge meshes with the same material option on your baked object that you can use in order to crunch everything down. That's what I actually had to do with a lot of these trees that were sharing the same material just multiple times. But once you have one flower, you can move on to the faster steps. So we can take one flower and we turn that into a branch fairly easily. Again, we just adjust the variation in sizes and add components, but it's fairly quick. And then from that, we can make something even more complicated, such as a tree. And all of this is basically just using the same simple technique and just building upon each other. It doesn't take a whole, day to do one tree because you don't have to do all the flowers, you don't have to do all the branches. You just work from little to bigger things, and you'll find that the amount of time that it takes to work on something can multiply significantly. That's one of the reasons I was able to complete Beatitude in quite a time crunch. And I was able to surprise myself with how efficient I got towards the end of the project. But thank you all for listening to my presentation.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Eclypse, for your presentation. We're going to move into a question period now. So if anyone in the audience has any questions, please raise your hand or whatever appendage suits you, and we will call on you. Oh, Jason? Jason? And get into yell, please.
Yes. That was great. Thank you so much for sharing. As somebody who's not an artist at all, I'm always super intimidated about even trying to do like the most basic things. Did you always know how to like paint and draw and sculpt? or did you learn at some point? Like, what was your journey into being an amazing 3D art maker?
My journey started when I was fairly new, as a teenager, and I simply observed what other people did and tried to copy it myself. I know that a lot of people don't believe in the concept of copying, but really that's how we learn. And so observing how other people brush strokes or how other people, work their lines, that's really the key to learning how to create your own style. You can't you can't simply be born an artist. Some people just learn the techniques faster than others.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? Kresny, as you're jumping, you putting
Yeah.
your hand up? Yeah?
I don't have hands.
Oh, you don't have hands. Oh, shoot. All right. Well, that was good. That works. Yeah, I guess you're already in Yo. Yeah, what's your question, Kresny?
I'm interested about the. What does it mean? Unless I missed the explanation earlier.
The meaning?
Yeah.
Well, the meaning is how to put it into it's really just about the concept of being okay with having or being okay with not being okay. Uh, the the whole point of the exercise is to understand that you're never the same, no matter how much you try to fix the problem. Um, just in trying to fix the problem, going to grow, and your point of view in life is going to change. I think, as I mentioned, one of the big inspirations for the entirety of it is uh, sashiko or kintsugi. Sashiko is a technique that uses patchwork and in order to repair clothing or other garments, but you incorporate the patch as a new element of design into what was broken. Kintsugi is probably something that people are more familiar with, which is repairing broken pottery with gold elements in order to take something that would normally be considered disposable and transforming it into something more beautiful than what originally was.
Oh, Miss Molly.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, because you said that you were on a time crunch, right, for this project, but I
Very
would think
much
that this
so.
project would take a really long time. How long did it take you exactly?
To be honest, I had been planning this project the whole month. Several setbacks due to health issues and just life in general. And really, I only had about 3 days to complete the actual body of work. So I had to be able to move quickly. And like I said, that multiplication effect of taking decisive small steps and just amplifying it through duplicating, adding complexity really speeds up the process towards the end.
Thank you.
I'll be honest, I actually had no expectation whatsoever to get my project completed in time, but I also didn't want to fall into the despair of not accomplishing something or at least submitting something just because I thought that I wouldn't get it done.
I have another question.
Oh, yes, Jason.
Um, whenever I make any work, I try to like do a self-reflection at the end of it and ask myself two questions. And so I'd like to ask you these two questions. The first question is, when you look back on what you've done, what were you really proud of that you did? And secondly, when you look back at what you've done, where is something that you feel like you would like to improve upon for your next work?
I'm really glad you asked those questions, because formatively, um, the this project became its own form of self-reflection. It became an exercise in everything that I've learned in these last almost 2 years I've been on Resonite. Uh, and standing at the end of it, looking back at the actual work, it was a strange moment of self-actualization that I experienced.
Mm.
Like I mentioned, I had no belief that I was going to be able to finish this in time. And when I looked back and I saw the entire thing completed, and it was actually so much better than what I had originally planned. Um, I can't even mention the sense of felt. Now there are things I could have done better, such as better time management. One of the silly things that we tend to do during MMC is leave our worlds open to distractions. So I think maybe one of the things I would have done was take the little bit of time that I did have earlier on and, private a little bit more so that I would have had probably gotten further into the project, rather than having to do everything so quickly. But at the same time, because of that limitation, because of that pressure, I feel like I ended up performing so much better than I could have otherwise.
All right. Any other questions? Oh, Amelia.
Yeah. So I know that your world uses the ant style locomotion. What inspired you to use that?
So one of the biggest limitations I have is that I'm not the greatest coder. And I really, from the beginning, I wanted to have a form of locomotion that was going to be very disorienting to the person traveling through this path. The path itself is meant to be disorienting, not in a, you know, simply visual way. I don't want to make anybody sick, but in a way that sort of makes you focus on something, and it's not until you look around that you realize that things around you are very different. The position in which you are is very different. And so I needed a form of locomotion that would let me keep people on a non-linear path, or at least a non-horizontal path. And Creator Jam happens to have so many assets. And one of those assets was the ant walk.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to preemptively ask Nix if he wants to ask his question.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes.
I was just curious, what were the big things you learned in the process of this, especially like artistically, technically, what kind of like boundaries of your like skills were you pushing in this?
Going back to the thing I mentioned with Jason's question, learning from others' work. So I had been inspired to do this since the previous MMC year, where I took a look at one of the entries, which was also done with in-world assets and paintbrushes, and I simply sat there for I don't know how long, trying to figure out how this person had magically made these leaves on like bamboo. And sitting with it and figuring it out, I actually started learning how to use the tools at my disposal in a very different way than normally, presented. I think to
Alright.
answer your
Oh, no, continue.
I think to answer your question specifically, that I learned during the process of creating this project, it was that I ingrained in my mind the lessons I had learned throughout those 2.5 or almost 2 years. And I had to mentally work very quickly to take all of those lessons and create things like even these grasses that you see on the border of the stage. Those are just images that I took after creating 3D asset grasses.
Alright, any other questions? All right, I think that concludes our question period. We will be doing a world tour of Beatitude from a world orb that is no longer here.
I got it.
You got it?
Yep. And we'll also be doing a group photo, actually.
Oh yes, a group photo. Mhm.
Yeah. So if everybody could get up on stage. Thank you, Eclypse. Yeah, that was amazing, Eclypse.
Yes, thank you so much, Eclypse.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone up on stage and we'll take a group photo.
Yes, you can swap into your normal avies.
Yes, normal avatars are
Mhm.
okay.
I crashed.
Oh no,
Oh no.
Byron.
Yeah, getting into our regular
See you
avatars
later.
might crush some people. Oh no. All right. Cameras. And then after we take our group photo, we'll do the world hop. Dave and Heath, come on down to the group. I hope to get you guys in here. And then we can get that world orb after the photo. All right.
Do we have a cutout of Ren that we can use?
Do we have a cutout of Ren?
Do we have a
I
cutout
think
of
I
Ren?
actually have cut out a Ren.
Oh.
Let's see.
Yeah, I might too. Let me see.
Everybody
Be the fastest getting out a cutout of Ren.
right? Hold on, I want to save one in my inventory just in case.
Ren, where are you?
All right, I got it from
Oh,
MC.
you got
There
it?
we are.
There you go.
Hey,
you go.
that was quick. Let's go.
Awesome.
Okay. Everyone say. "Ah." Yay! Cheesy art. Oh, and Legion died as usual.
And Legion died.
Okay. Oh, that's a great photo. Look at
Very
that.
nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for the group photo. And Dave, I believe that we are going to need a world orb still. Actually, in fact, I might be able to get one.
I might need to grab
myself.
it. Let me see.
Yes. I drew from my explanation to you for this.
Is it this one?
That was great.
Oh, no, that's not the right one. That's mine. Wait, is it?
Possibly?
I shouldn't have anything open.
I'm still new.
Maybe this one.
This is a world orb.
Probably that one, yes. Also, this one should work.
Yeah, we're hosting one right now, so.
Yes, we are hosting one. All right, so everybody double click this orb to get to
Syncing
Eclipse's world and
initial-
we'll do a world hop. Excellent.
Well, if anybody has any questions during this walk, let me know.
So pretty.
Actually, many people may have missed this little tiny detail.
Oh, that's a sketch.
Ooh.
I didn't miss it.
because it's so integral to it's silly how like something so simple as a doodle can inspire all of this.
It kind of reminds me of Vitruvian Man, a little bit.
Kind of. It was actually more based on like Indian gods with like multiple hands.
Oh, cool.
Oh, this is
my.
beautiful.
Wow. Oh, so what's this ant locomotion about, Eclipse?
Yeah, thank you.
So,
everybody.
in
Oh,
order
thank
to
you.
traverse through this
Yeah.
world, you will need the ant locomotion because, as you see, this is non-linear motion. Well, I guess
Non-Euclidean.
yeah.
Euclidean?
If I
I
recall,
don't even need to know what that means. Actually, I'm just
Well,
pretending like I know what I'm saying.
Equip it and go.
non-Euclidean would be where the space itself is warped, but we can just say that it's non-Euclidean because it's not a straight line.
if I recall with this ant locomotion as well, is one,
have
it
to-
might make you motion sick if you're prone to motion sickness, and two, you have to choose it from your locomotion menu after
I saw that you
clicking,
have to
correct?
choose it, yeah.
And
yeah.
3, you will be able to climb on any colliders, so be careful with the edges.
Ooh, fun.
Can we get a quick
And
tutorial?
Be careful.
What
on
can I
Yes.
climb on?
edges.
What can I
So
climb on?
you'll see. Oh, I can.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
What? Whee!
Oh wait, I fell off too.
Scary. Oh no, Jace.
Oh no.
Stay
Oh,
away
that
from the
doesn't
edge.
work too well.
Disoriented.
No.
Thank you.
Oh, that was cool though.
Ooh.
Oh,
yeah,
actually,
that's
before we
fun.
begin, one of my proudest achievements was the skybox. This skybox is completely drawn in world and is not an image.
Whoa.
Wow.
It uses billboarding textures with the paintbrushes in order to create the cloudiness and the stars. The stars are actually a brush in and of themselves.
That's really pretty.
Oh,
So how
wow.
does that go to fit together? How does that work?
What do you mean?
Wow. Like you drew that in here and then you just turned it into a skybox?
No. Those are 3D elements right now. If you move around, you notice that the
wow.
stars actually move.
Yeah, I noticed they're wiggling.
Oh.
That is
Wow.
cool.
Wild.
That's really cool.
Wow.
It's definitely disorienting.
I'm getting a little motion sick already.
Whoa. Yeah.
Talk to us, Eclipse. Guide us.
Yeah.
Lead us.
Right, so
Yes.
here we start on the path.
Whoa, this is so trippy.
I really wanted to incorporate these flowers, which were another part of the inspiration. These were an early creation in the project, as I was just kind of figuring out what I was doing. And I got so many little suggestions, and this ended up happening with like little tendrils and stuff.
That's very pretty.
So the part about getting distracted by people coming into a world is a double-edged sword because you can find inspiration because people will make suggestions, but also they can distract you.
Like you need to have private hours and public hours or something.
Yes. Another technique I used for the trees was using the flat brush to create the pseudo lines on the bark.
Ooh.
I found that it's really not even that important to worry about the clipping because the clipping can become part of the structure of those lines as they sort of morph. As you can see right here, this just adds more complexity to it.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
Thank you for not
it works
making
as
those
slow motion.
colliders, so we'd be
Yeah.
climbing those.
Right, totally. I was totally trying to.
Oh, I didn't mention this part. So the other thing about these trees is that they have both three-dimensional objects as the leaves, but also I took photos of those three-dimensional objects with a orthographic flat texture creating camera. And so I filled in the trees with those to make those like you know how regular trees have the crisscrossing flat plane leaves? Crisscross applesauce. And that can all be done in game very easily.
Wow.
Ooh.
Somebody found something grabbable. We won't question that.
Let's walk and talk. I love this place.
Whoa.
Pretty.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Ooh.
I'm gonna mention something a little bit into this when we get to the next point, because I want you to sort of kind of get used to the locomotion a little bit. I know it's a little disorienting, but like your mind will get a little bit used to it.
Oh, it's the flowers that were seats.
Yes.
Use the red flowers. We were sitting
So-
on these.
Oh yeah.
These were created very much the same way I did it on the stage, where I just
look
drew a
wrong,
couple
Dave.
of petals, and rearranged them into much more complex geometry, and then added the stems and the leaves, and you can see some more of that using the different types of brushes to create a little bit more detail on the leaves.
Can you talk about the lighting in this world? It's really pretty.
So this world is powered by my fog system. And I say my, but like really, Red taught me how to do it.
Okay.
And so what's happening is you
To work on
currently
your
have a
hygiene.
sphere around your head that you will not notice because I fine-tuned the heck out of it.
Hmm.
And it has a certain material in it which basically creates a fog effect for objects further away from you.
Oh.
And so that's what's creating the haziness to it. And then simply adjusting the colors and levels of things in order to just get the right look.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's cool.
If we continue down this way.
Oh boy. Incredible for 3 days.
Yeah, really.
And I had to remove all of the colliders on all of these plants.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Or else you would be sticking to them right now.
I've had that problem in a world before. Did a whole big import, got everything set up, and then realized I needed to remove hundreds of colliders. I was
I have a
just
kill
deep enough
collider
in
tool.
that was better than re-importing.
Yes.
There's no way to
Oh,
automate
yeah.
that, huh?
Now, this is that
No,
part.
there's no component level access.
You
Hmm.
want one?
This is that part where I shifted gears from having like all this forestry and complexity, and I wanted something much more serene.
Hmm.
And this place here kind of offers like a place of contemplation where you can look out into the stars without too much eye candy happening.
Unless you look
And
left.
this is where I'm going to ask you
Oh,
all to
yeah.
take a look at the actual places that we've been.
Wait, were we over there already?
We were over there.
Wow, that's cool.
See, it's
Wait,
very
spawn?
right there.
Way
Yeah,
over
I
there.
like the way you move through this world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You don't notice how much you're wiggling around.
Yeah. And look, it's fun to see everybody like catching up like this.
Yeah, this is so cool.
It's really, really good.
Neat.
This world is very pretty.
So
Yeah, it
pretty.
really is. And it just
Oh,
takes
so
advantage of all
big.
the magic of VR and Resonite too, you know?
I'm getting a little bit motion sick.
A tiny bit. I'm gonna try to push through
Yeah,
it.
I think I might have to bow out as well.
Oh no.
If anybody gets too motion sick, you can also get back into your fly locomotion
Yeah.
or no clip.
Yeah.
There we go.
I wouldn't recommend trying to push through it. That's usually when I get like sick.
Right, right. My
Yeah,
students
I'm
always
gonna
do
go
the same.
watch the Twitch. I'll see you guys.
Bye.
Hi, Amelia.
Bye.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
wanted
no,
it to
oh, no.
no clip, and it's a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Beware the colliders. Beware the colliders.
Wow, just the. It's so trippy.
Yeah, the sense
Whoa.
of like bumping over this terrain and being under all the trees. It's really
Yeah, I wanted
cool.
to make it so that like no matter where you are, the view is just disorienting. Because you don't know how far you've walked until you look around.
Mm-hmm.
I love these arms and the like. This is like your hand and like a pen tool or a brush
Yeah, the
tool.
hands
or
are so
something.
cool.
That's actually a needle.
Ooh. Oh,
I
from
didn't
the
explain that
thing.
part.
No, you did.
Yeah, it's like
the Japanese
stitching
term.
the world of
Yes.
the journey together.
Yeah, the patchwork thing.
Mm-hmm. The
Yeah,
idea
yeah,
is patchworking essentially a soul.
I love that. That's so cool. Okay, so going into NoClip also presents some interesting locomotion challenges.
You need that
Oh.
3-axis no clip.
Yeah, 3-axis
Yeah.
no clip is great. I wonder if I have an injector for that still.
I think
And if it
you
still
set
works.
yourself back
What is that? What is
Oh my god.
To walk?
readjust
I mean,
your gravity
There
maybe?
we go.
time?
You can
I'm
fly
now
it.
pretty used to just being
The
completely
sightlines
upside
everywhere are
down,
so cool,
which is
Eclypse.
fine.
Excellent. I mean, you won't be upside down once
We
the
stray
world
not
goes
from the
upside down.
path.
If we keep going long enough, I'll go
Yeah,
right
if
side
you
up
keep
again.
going long enough, you're only upside down half the time.
Keep
Right?
us boost in this world. I can really get ahead of people.
He.
Okay, wait, Miss Molly, you said maybe I can go back to walk. Let me try that.
Ooh.
Whoa, shit. Bye.
Wow.
Bye.
Bell shapes.
What?
Yeah, the only thing I wish this locomotion had was a little bit more smoothing.
Mm.
Because I don't feel like the orientation is really the problem. It's more the jaggediness.
Oh, well, that is to do with your terrain.
Oh,
So if
shit.
Yeah.
it's reading the polygons that you're walking on.
a three-clip, a
So if the
three-axis
terrain was
no-clip
smoother,
injector.
you
I don't
wouldn't
know
have
if it
so
still
many
works.
Wait, which
if
way are we
anyone wants
going?
to try it.
Need a
Which
this
direction?
way.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who's
Let's
strapping
go.
injector? I want to
I
try.
got it here.
Yes,
I
I don't
don't know if
know.
it still works, but you can at least try it.
Okay.
Ooh.
So
I'm
just
gonna-
do you want me to hit you with it?
Yeah, would you please?
We get into the dense forest.
Mm.
Thank you.
Check your menu. You should have just a second no-clip if it worked.
Oh,
Yep.
that is also valid.
Oh, I do have a second no clip.
Oh no,
Yep,
a tree
it's
is
just called
blocking our
no-clip.
path.
Wow.
No.
And one will like rotate you, and one
Your
will
Pokemon doesn't know cut yet. You cannot proceed.
But I really like it actually.
Okay. Yeah.
You can't just walk around the bush.
Okay.
Foiled.
Just go slow with it, because like I said, it can be a little disorienting.
This area here, I wanted to sort of give a feeling of being in a dense forest, kind of high in the canopy.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
And then I can go forward, and I can go. Okay. Thank you. This is good.
You're welcome. I found personally for me, it worked better when I set my locomotion to use my hand direction instead of head direction, because then if I wanted to go up,
You're getting
The
there.
ideal here is very, very good.
Oh, snap.
When people aren't moving trees.
No. Anyway. Yay.
The trees.
That's a personal preference. Let's try to catch up.
Ooh.
You can also boost your
Ooh.
speed in the settings.
Wow.
Being able to sprint is too slow.
Okay. No, I think I'm good. This is good.
Alright.
This is good. It's gonna take me a second, but I think I got it.
Boy, this whole approach and everything is so good.
Here you can switch back to regular walk and it should keep you a little bit more stable.
I'm jumping.
Oh, you jumped to me, and I'm behind you.
Hello.
Here we go.
There we
Now
go.
you're upside up.
Oh no.
This is awesome.
So this is probably what took the longest to create as a singular asset.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Ooh. Oh my god.
Um,
That's big. Wow.
and
Legion
I had to
Ben.
create a three-dimensional body form with, again, those limitations that I talked about not having full three-dimensional data available to your eyes. So there's a lot of moving around, a lot of restructuring that happens, and I found that the easiest way to do it is to use the regular line brush to sort of create a skeleton that you're then going to paper mache around.
Wow.
And that's pretty much the tour. There's a nice lot of flowers down there. Be careful with the edge.
Do you have like a sketch of the skeleton that you used?
No, I was working too fast and I had to delete it.
Ah, that's a shame. This is a hell of a centerpiece, though. This is beautiful. Just
It
like
really is. I agree.
this whole world is just such an interesting culmination of like all your skills really woven together in just the most synergistic way.
Yeah, this has been a great presentation, Eclipse. Thank you so much for
It really was.
showing us all this.
Very much award winning. I mean, I can see why you got it.
Such a
It's
pretty
really
world.
Great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Way to go, Eclipse. That was great.
To install properly.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Molly. Thank you, Metaverse Academia, for putting this talk on. Yay. When's the next one?
The next one is actually in a couple of weeks. I think it's Nyx and Rin who are doing theirs.
Ooh.
Was it in a couple of weeks with you guys? Yeah.
Next month, I believe, right?
Oh, maybe it's a couple more weeks from that couple weeks. Either way, we got some more coming up in the next few weeks and months. Yeah. And thank you as well to Dave and Heath for being our videographers. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, bravo.
And Dave, feel free to stop the stream as well. Yeah, thank you for the people who came to the stream as well. Yeah, on Twitch. Hey, someone.
Yeah, that was great.
Hey.
All right, well, now I'm inspired. I'm going to go try to draw something.
Is that a 3 texture?
It's really just about removing the hesitation and just doing it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's really inspiring.
I am not. Well, I guess I had a little bit of an advantage because I have always been somewhat good at artwork, but like at the same time, like there's so much that I had to learn, and I'm still learning. And it's like I said, it's not about being born an artist. I don't think anyone is born an artist. Some people just have certain understanding of things that makes them learn something faster.
I have something to say.
Not everyone,
nobody is born an artist,
Yeah.
but some people are born wanting to be an artist.
Oh my gosh, I love
that is also true.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
what you're doing for the frog.
I find that
Nice job, brother.
the most important part is just that same thing of like
Have a poster of them.
having the interest to study somebody else's technique, and not just look at it, but like actually try
Really
to
study it.
figure out. Yeah.
Eclypse.
It's cool.
Having like the tinkerer's mindset. Very useful mindset to have in Resonite.
And being able to blend multiple forms of things that you know.
I'm not flipping it. That's
Like
legit.
the way I drew that out was much more the way I would have worked like on Blender or something, or with clay, where I had to simply create lines that match the curvature.
All right, I'm going to pop out. Bye, you guys. That was fun. That was so much fun. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Sticks. Thanks, Molly.
Hey,
bye, Solus.
3D or in 2D.
That was awesome.
You didn't actually
You're a
use
mystery
to have dropped it at the right time.
Because I haven't picked one out yet.
That's
why I installed that.
Use this Blender as the ground.
That's awesome.
This is almost impossible to do in here.
But she's
So
asleep.
far.
She had a long day at work.
I've heard of some
So
things
now
that
you're
might make
bored.
it possible.
If you combine multiple convex meshes, it might be
I went ahead and-
necessary.
I went ahead and stopped recording,
That would get
and I'll send the footage over to you.
My issue with convex walls is I don't trust them anymore since all the crashing.
I was concerned you were like, I was like, oh
Otherwise,
wait,
yes,
no, wait,
I
no,
would've-
that's
I
not the
would've
weekend that
used
she's coming
convex
here.
holes.
She'll be here next.
I'm not a huge artist, but I do appreciate art, definitely.
Here, let me do the same thing.
A huge artist.
Hey, I
just
think
to
we're
share your creativity.
good on the stream. We can probably end the stream now.
The whole thing.
It's still
Just
going.
to tell a story or to express yourself in a way that like
I cannot hear you.
try to
He's saying, say bye-bye.
Oh, okay. Bye.
understand.
Thanks everyone for coming to the stream. Awesome.